So, riding my Alta in very unusual smoky conditions. I'm like 250 miles south of the wildfires in Northern California, campfire, but it looks incredibly foggy and eerie, but it's just all the smoke from way up there. It's been like this for at least a week now. But yeah, first time riding the Alta since they announced that they're shutting down operations. Apparently some of their funding was pulled or something, and they didn't have a backup plan to continue operations and selling bikes, which is, yeah, it's quite a mess. That they announced it like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they said there would be more information as of like 3 weeks ago, but that has not happened. There's been rumors that various companies like KTM or KTM's parent company would buy Alta, which would have been nice, but there's been no real conclusive news yet, so it's looking pretty bad, which is quite a shame because this is an amazing bike, and I've ridden a lot of other bikes that have been fun, but this one is more fun in a lot of ways. It's quite unique and just outrageously fun. Yeah, one of the frustrating thing here is that well, it's a dirt bike, and on a dirt bike I break various parts, bits and pieces regularly. Not on this bike yet, but on other bikes you replace like the license plate holder, turn signals, sometimes the brake pedal. That's like a normal occurrence, and with the operations being shut down, it's a little tricky. So I guess, I mean, a lot of this bike is built on top of like a 2014 KTM part lists, like various brake parts and suspension parts, I think. And I assume that I could probably find replacements for some of the easy things that break more easily. But yeah, it's a concern. I mean, with KTM, if I break a part, I just look up the Fish website, whatever, spare parts finder. You have all those diagrams, you get the part number, you Google it, and you have many options as far as where to buy a replacement. And there's some stuff on the forums, but it's sort of, I mean, and some people, I'm sure they could fabricate things as needed and 3D print parts, but it's not really of interest to me. I haven't exactly looked at the easy parts. I assume hopefully the turn signals and license plate holder are easy replacements. Not sure, especially the license plate holder. But then there's the other parts, like the well, of course, the battery and the motor. electric dash thing. If anything goes wrong with those, I'm completely screwed. So I was thinking, like, I was getting really worried, like, that I shouldn't really be riding this on the dirt at all, because it's inevitable that you break something, and if I broke a part that I couldn't replace, that'd be pretty horrible. They, on the website, the forums, they said that they don't have any extra batteries for anybody, any of the Alta owners. So and they were also saying that if the dash display thing breaks, you're screwed. So yeah, I was thinking, like, maybe I shouldn't even ride this in the dirt, just because, I mean, it's an amazing dirt bike and it's awesome, but it's also a fun street bike, and if I only rode it on the street, then there's less risk of things breaking, and me being screwed. And that's sort of what I was thinking, that I would just ride my... Jesus Christ. Just ride my KTM on the dirt and then figure out some kind of plan. This is such a shame, because this is an amazing bike. They had, like, good marketing, and, like, they were winning races on it. I mean, they were starting to have some success at least, which is pretty good for a completely new motorcycle platform. You don't see zero motorcycles winning any races. Yeah, so that's why I was thinking I should save the bike, keep it, maybe convert it to completely supermoto, and have it on the street for a long time. Because, yeah, it's really dang fun on the street, doing wheelies constantly. And I mean, I never really considered the bike, or like really was into the whole eco-friendly part of the aspect of the bike, but like I never have to go to the gas station. It's just like every so often I just like decide, oh, I should plug it in, and then I'm done. Sort of interesting. And well, of course the other, yeah, and then the big factor is no maintenance compared to a normal dirt bike. But yeah, last time I was dirt biking, I took the KTM 200 XCW out, which I love that bike. It's an amazing bike. I never thought that I would ever have any complaints about it. But then, like, when you ride the Alta, I mean, it definitely takes some getting used to, switching back to the KTM 2-stroke. It's like, I forgot that bikes vibrate. So that was an interesting little thing. It's like I've ridden bikes like that for hundreds of hours, and then I switched from the Alta back to the 200, and it's like a paint can shaker thing. And then the other big thing, like, well, this bike is way better on any technical section. It's like cheating with the way the torque is so linear, and you can have so much control over it. But then the biggest fun aspect for me, I think, on this bike, on the dirt, is just like how precisely you can control the wheel traction. So like, if my rear wheel starts spinning, I instantly know that, I can hear it, and I can precisely like keep it spinning slightly, or I can back off a little bit and regain traction. I'm not sure, I suppose like skilled two-stroke riders could do the same thing, maybe? I don't know how that's possible, but like, it's just so much control with the spinning of the rear wheel. It's really fun, just like, especially this Four Fingers trail here, that's just like just uphill turn after turn. It's pretty sandy now, or dry, and I can just like slide the rear in a turn as much as I want, and then regain traction whenever I want to. Snake trail is sort of confusing. There's a deer, and there's a big pit. That's interesting. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this bike, and logically I guess I would save it for the street and keep it for a longer period of time, and so I avoid crashing on the dirt and breaking parts that I can't replace. But emotionally, it's pretty hard to give up riding this in the dirt. And there's like no competition for this bike either. Like, there's zero motorcycles, but they don't have anything in this category at all. They have bikes that say that they're dual sport, but they have belt drive, and they weigh like 100 pounds more, and like the suspension is not set up for the dirt at all, and a whole bunch of other things. When I arrived here today, I saw at least like two trucks that were like just like stopping to ogle at my bike and look at just how amazing it is. and a couple other people just walking. This Metcalf park, they had a big sprint enduro race here like a month and a half ago. So far I don't see much like indication that there was a race. The trails are about the same as they were. It's basically hasn't rained here in like 10 months or something crazy. I guess there was some small rainfall at one point, but one thing I'll need to ask about so the Rangers here got at least one Alta EXR, and they were gonna get an charging station, and now that Alta's out of operations, what does that mean? I saw all these posts on the forums about people like, they say how much they love their bike, but then they post it online to sell the bike. Like they're liquidating their bikes, which, yeah, that's sort of depressing. I'm not too worried about the monetary value of this bike. Like, just the amount of fun it gives me on each of my like commutes to work that are a couple miles away is enough for me to keep it forever. It's not like it's some investment. I still need to get supermoto wheels on this thing. Friggin', I emailed Warp 9, I never got a response, and I'm worried that if I buy some, they won't fit, or I'll need some kind of special spacers or adapters or something, and I won't be able to find those.